Good afternoon. It is Wednesday, March 15th, and we are here for my weekly live Q&A. Every week I get questions from people on Facebook and Instagram, text messages and emails. I compile them during the week, usually get 2 or 3, and then I kind of go live here and answer questions. If you're joining me and watching me here, I'd love to have you hop in and ask me a couple of questions. I'm here for you, and very much looking forward to doing this. So let's just jump right into it here. So first question, it says, how do you measure success in a sales team? Ultimately, whatever they sell, right? The more sales they have, then the more successful they are. Now, that being said, there's leading indicators and lagging indicators in sale, right? So leading indicators would be dials, contacts, appointments set. Lagging indicators would be appointments shown or appointments kept. Clients taken, home sold. So there's different levels of success. I mean, at the end of the day, how many homes you sell or how much money you bring in or how many widgets you sell, that's the ultimate determinant of success. However, success is not just, a one and done thing. It's steps and it's processes and it's doing the right thing in the right order. So in general, I think the first thing you need to do is track your numbers. So that way you can figure out what your baseline numbers need to be. And so, for instance, in real estate, generally, if you talk to 10 people, you'll get 4 people to say they'll work with you. 2 of them will actually show up and become a client, and one of those people will probably work with you. So I'm measuring my success by those numbers for the most part. So I know if I talk to 10 people, I'm going to sell a house. Basically, could be a little more now because the market's changed, but you have to take a look at what your numbers are and track them on a monthly basis and look at how many dials you need to get a contact, how many contacts you need to get an appointment, how many appointments you need to show up to get a client, how many clients you need to sell a home, and then how many home sales you need to actually have one go through, because not everything closes. So I think you just got to track the leading indicators and the lagging indicators, look at what your averages are or your median numbers are, and see what it takes in each one of those categories to result in a sale. And it's going to change by time of year. It's going to change based on your skill set. It's going to change based on the data you have, right? So you're going to have to continually keep track of that so you can make adjustments along the way to get the results you need. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Question number 2. What are some strategies for improving communication and collaboration among sales team members? It's interesting. Excuse me. I've been talking with J.M. Ryerson, who is a culture, core value, leadership expert, and you should check him out on LinkedIn, and he's got a great website, Let's Go Win. But check him out; he's got some really, really good strategies in general. And one of the things that you need to do in order to make sure that communication and collaboration is good is that you have to have a culture where people believe in collaboration, that they don't want to work in a silo, where people are not hurt by getting input from other people, okay, and that they're open to communication. When I worked for NAEA more consistently, we had a lot of great core values, and one of those core values was open and real communication. You had the ability to go and talk to anybody and have an open and real conversation with them. Now, you had to be kind, you had to be fair, you had to be reasonable, you can't be hurtful, but I should be able to come to somebody in the company and say, listen, I'm concerned about this, or I think you did a great job here, and know that it's going to be handled properly. I hope that makes sense. So it all starts with your culture and your core values. Your core values have to be about collaboration, they have to be about communication, and then from a culture standpoint, as long as you bring people in that adhere to those core values, you should be able to then encourage collaboration and communication between people. And quite honestly, if you have a company where there's multiple departments, they have to collaborate with each other. They have to communicate with each other. So obviously you're setting systems up for that to happen, right? Real estate, property goes under agreement, goes to the closing coordinator. Closing coordinator works with the agents, works with title companies, works with anybody else that's involved, and then that person's going to communicate back and forth with you. So it all starts with a good culture, good core values, making sure that the core values are lived by from your standpoint, making sure that the people you bring on board are people who adhere to and embody those core values, and you have to have collaboration and communication as part of that whole subset of values, so that that that's a mandatory part of non-negotiable part of working with you. Okay. And then lastly, how do we stay up to date with industry trends and changes in sales techniques? I'm kind of an information fiend. Partially because I have to be. I work with real estate agents across the United States and Canada, so I can't just know what's going on globally. Like I've got to know what's going on in Rochester, New York. I know what's going on in Greenville, South Carolina. I've got to know what's going on in South Jordan, Utah. So the places I like people to stay in touch with, and I stay in touch with, at least for the real estate industry, is I love Altos Research. Mike Simonson on YouTube has a video that comes out once a week, talks about what's going on in the market. I also look at the Altos Research page, excuse me, and I look at the free reports they have for different basically every zip code in the country. I think they identified 972 distinct real estate markets, and they have a summary for each one of those markets. They study the data like crazy. I check out MBA.org to see what's happening with mortgage starts and what's happening with foreclosure business and also policy. I like drhousingbubble.com. What else? I'm a big fan of Statista, Statista.com. They gather all kinds of data from a bunch of different sources, especially CoreLogic, which is a great data source for real estate. And they have all kinds of new statistical data, and I get a chart from them every day on different aspects of the economy and the marketplaces, and whatnot. So it's really good data. Keeping Current Matters is a great place to get information. What else? Real Market Reports. So I try and look at national stuff, regional stuff, local stuff, and I take a look at what's happening in the economy, the real estate market, and the mortgage market, and I just look at it on a regular basis. And whatever I grab, I try to extrapolate the information to how it's going to help my clients. Like today I did a training for the Cliff Freeman Group, and I brought up something from Statista that I had gotten where they had compared the bank closings that happened over the last week to the bank closings that happened in the Great Recession, and drew a bunch of differences between the two, so that we understood that this isn't like the Great Recession where banks were falling left and right because everybody had lent money to people they shouldn't have lent it to. So are more banks going to fail? Probably, but the expectation is it's not going to be like it was back then. So those are all the questions for today. You can always email me, Wally@phonesalessecrets.com. You can leave a message here on Facebook, or hit me up on Instagram or LinkedIn or Twitter or any place else, and I will be more than happy to answer your questions. But that's all we have for today. Make sure that you're kind to yourself and everybody else. Thanks.